The salvage yards of Neo-Tokyo's outer rim were no place for dreams, but Liza Chen had learned to find hope in the discarded remnants of humanity's reach for the stars. She picked through twisted metal and broken circuitry with practiced hands, her worn gloves protecting fingers that had grown nimble from years of necessity. At 19, she had been scavenging these mechanical graveyards since she was old enough to carry a toolkit. The morning sun cast long shadows between towering piles of decommissioned spacecraft when she heard the sound. A weak, keening cry that seemed to pierce through the usual hum of the recycling centers. Liza paused, her scarred hand still clutching a promising piece of quantum processor, and listened. The sound came again, smaller now, almost fading. Following the noise deeper into the maze of wreckage, she discovered something that made her breath catch. Nestled among the shattered remains of what appeared to be an ancient exploration vessel was a creature no larger than a house cat, but clearly not of Earth. Its scales shimmered with an opalescent quality that shifted from deep purple to silver in the light. Membranous wings, torn and bleeding, were folded against a body that heaved with labored breathing. What struck her most were its eyes, ancient, intelligent, and filled with a pain that transcended species. "Oh, you poor thing," Liza whispered, setting down her salvage and approaching slowly. The creature, she was certain now it was some kind of dragon, though impossibly small, watched her with wariness but didn't flee. Without hesitation, she pulled the nutrient bar from her jacket pocket. It was her breakfast, her only meal until evening, but something in those eyes told her this was more important than her own hunger. She broke off pieces and offered them gently. The dragon's tongue, forked and delicate, tested each morsel before accepting it gratefully. "There we go," she murmured, settling beside the wounded creature. "I don't have much, but you're welcome to share." For the next hour, James Park found her there. Her childhood friend had been searching the yards for her after she'd missed their usual morning meeting. He stopped short when he saw the impossible scene. Liza feeding something that belonged in myths and legends, not in the industrial wasteland of their daily existence. "Liz, what in the seven systems is that?" James asked, his voice a mixture of wonder and concern. "I think he's lost," she replied simply, continuing to offer water from her bottle cap to the small dragon. "And hurt. Look at his wings." James knelt beside them, his engineering background kicking in as he examined the creature's injuries with clinical interest. "These wounds, they're clean, precise, like weapon damage." He looked up at Liza with growing alarm. "This isn't some lost pet, Liz. Something was hunting him." The dragon's eyes fixed on James, then back to Liza, as if understanding their conversation. It made a sound, not the pained crying from before, but something deeper, more purposeful. The air around them began to shimmer, and both humans felt a strange tingling in their minds. "Child of compassion," a voice spoke directly into their consciousness, ancient and vast despite coming from such a small form. "You have shown kindness to one you knew not, shared sustenance when you had little to spare. This is the mark of true nobility." Liza nearly dropped her water bottle. "You can speak? I am Zephyros, last prince of the Dracorian Empire. For 3,000 of your years, my people have watched humanity spread across the stars. We have seen your wars, your greed, your capacity for destruction." The dragon's mental voice carried weight that seemed to press against their souls. "But we have also seen this, your unprecedented capacity for compassion toward strangers, your willingness to sacrifice for those who cannot repay you." James found his voice first. "Dracorian Empire? We've never encountered any." "Because we chose to remain hidden," Zephyros explained, managing to lift his small head with obvious effort. "My empire spans 17 star systems, controls technology your species believes impossible, commands fleets that dwarf your greatest armadas. But we are dying, child, not from war or plague, but from the cold mathematics of evolution. We are too few, too isolated, too proud to change." Liza felt tears building in her eyes. "The wounds? My own council's work. They believed my ideas about humanity were contamination, weakness." The dragon's mental voice carried bitter amusement. "They cast me out to die, thinking my death would end the debate. They did not account for crash landing in the territory of someone like you." The air shimmered again, more intensely this time, and both humans gasped as knowledge flooded their minds. Star charts showing vast territories controlled by dragon ships, technologies that could revolutionize human civilization, and most importantly, the devastating truth about the Empire's decline. "I name you Liza Chen of Earth, Heir to the Dracorian Empire, Zephyros declared, his small form beginning to glow with inner light. Not because of bloodline or conquest, but because you possess what my people have forgotten. The wisdom to show mercy to the defenseless, the strength to sacrifice for others, and the vision to see beyond species and circumstance. I can't, Liza protested, overwhelmed. I'm nobody. I live in the salvage yards. I barely have enough to feed myself. Precisely why you can, the dragon replied. Wealth corrupts judgment. Power blinds the heart. But someone who shares their last meal with a stranger, such a person can be trusted with the fate of civilizations. James watched in amazement as the glow around Zephyros intensified, and suddenly the small dragon began to change. His wounds healed, his form expanded, until a magnificent creature the size of a shuttle stood before them, scales now blazing like captured starlight. The transformation is temporary, he explained, noting their awe. My exile damaged more than flesh, but long enough to return to my people and announce my choice. Long enough to transfer the crown codes that will make you empress of an empire humans have never dreamed existed. Liza stepped back, shaking her head. This is insane. Your people will never accept a human ruler. Some will not, Zephyros agreed, but many have watched you, studied your species' unique traits. They have seen how humans adapt, survive, and thrive in ways we dragons cannot. Most importantly, they have seen your unmatched capacity for growth and change, something my static people desperately need. He lowered his great head until his eyes were level with hers. You showed compassion without hope of reward. You sacrificed without knowing the recipient. You acted from pure goodness of heart. These are not common traits in any species, Liza Chen. They are the rarest qualities in the universe and exactly what a dying empire needs to be reborn. As James watched in stunned silence, Zephyros breathed gently on Liza's forehead and a mark appeared there, a symbol that seemed to shift and change like living metal. The crown of the Dracorian Empire, he announced. Yours by right of character, by proof of worthiness, and by the desperate hope that humanity's greatest strength, your infinite capacity for unexpected kindness, can save us all. Liza touched the mark, feeling power and responsibility settling on her shoulders like a mantle made of stars. In the distance, the sound of approaching ships filled the air, not human vessels, but something far more advanced. Your empire awaits, Empress, Zephyros said with deep satisfaction, and with it, the chance to prove that sometimes the greatest power in the universe comes not from conquest, but from a poor girl willing to share her breakfast with a stranger. As the dragon ships descended from the clouds, Liza realized her life of scavenging had ended. Her life of building bridges between species, and perhaps saving them both, was about to begin.